When I watch a show or movie, I like to feel as if I'm experiencing it with a collective of people, which is why I often look for Reddit discussion threads or simply at the comment section of something I'm watching to get some sort of affirmation that what I watched was worth my time. Sometimes I enjoy watching older shows I used to watch as a kid, such as Beyblade Metal Series, original Bakugan, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, Power Rangers Samurai. Wait, did he just summon a horse using kanji? Yo. Come on, Google. I want to switch to Google Translate to summon mode.
Give up. Samurai forever! Yeah.
Among many other shows. Which is why I tend to be addicted to the content of YouTubers such as Billiam and Negative Legend, who cover nostalgic 2000s to 2010s TV shows and toy lines. Because the past is always better, am I right? Haha, let's go back to 2012, baby. Gangnam Style. Why did I write that? But when I watch these shows nowadays, I get this feeling of emptiness. Almost like an existential dread, as if I'm the only person on the planet who is watching the show or even cares. And as a consequence of this feeling, I often just stop watching the show. There's also another phenomenon when I watch the majority of a nostalgic show, but I stop around the ending of the show because I feel like if I finish the show, then that part of my life dies forever. For example, I've watched Beyblade Metal Fusion and Metal Masters nearly 3 times over the course of 7 years, but I stop in the middle of the final season, Metal Fury, every time. I think I have a problem. But that's different. I'm talking about the feeling I get when I'm enjoying a nostalgic show and feel all alone, as if I've been left behind, and all the kids who used to watch the show have already grown up and would think weird of me if I tried to discuss it with them today. For example, when I was in middle school, 6th grade, I was sitting in the back of class during a free study session when everyone was supposed to be doing homework but most people talked instead. There I was, working through my fractions assignment or something, when suddenly, in the depths of my subconscious, I started thinking about one of my favorite shows, Power Rangers Samurai.
Horse.
And ever so subtly, so quietly, I muttered under my breath, "Go, go, Power Rangers." And immediately the kid in front of me screamed, "He said go, go, Power Rangers, ah ha ha ha," and the class erupted in laughter. I got that flushed feeling of embarrassment, and that's probably what bred my reluctance to talk about nostalgic properties intended for kids or teens, even though a lot of people around my age would be delighted to reminisce about the past, and some are even up for watching these shows with me. That's why, if I decide to watch a nostalgic TV show, I tend to seek out the subreddit associated with the brand of what I'm watching. It doesn't have to be a subreddit, it can be any forum, but most commonly it's Reddit. For instance, I'm subbed to the Beyblade subreddit, right? Where a handful of times in the comment section of a post, I've geeked out about a certain plot point or a certain arc of the Metal Series show, as well as my favorite Beyblades, old and new of the Burst franchise, which I've started collecting. I enjoy it because, while a lot of the subreddit is comprised of children, there's no shortage of people closer to my age who share the same mentality of maintaining that childhood wonder of show watching and toy collecting by, still doing it. You may ask, do you enjoy these old shows purely out of nostalgia, or do you unironically like them? And to that I would say, a healthy mixture of both. Some say, if you're constantly obsessing over the past, it probably means you aren't happy with your life in the moment. That's not the case for me. For many, including myself, when high school comes around, you get distracted by so many things going on. People are more superficial, you're constantly nagged about college in the future, you have to balance electives, clubs, grades, not to mention your hormones are wacky. There's little time to think about the things you used to. And when I graduated high school and started college, everything slowed down. Right now, I have more free time and general flexibility with my schedule than I've ever had. Not to mention, my mental clarity is a lot better since I actually sleep. It was bad in high school. I would watch like Game Grumps or anime until 4 in the morning just so I could get an hour of sleep and catch the bus at 5 a.m. And then I would go about my day like a zombie. I'm sure many can relate. And it's like, we did this for years? Alright. Point is, by the time all the educational commotion calmed down, I realized I didn't stop watching these shows because I matured out of them. I stopped watching them because I was forcibly ripped from them, my time, attention, and energy drained by, life. It's only when I revisited these shows that I realized I do enjoy them, but it's like no one is actually here to enjoy them with me anymore. Part of the fun of Bakugan, Beyblade, and Pokemon is the social aspect of comparing collections, trading, and sharing what you like about it. It's part of the reason why I get melancholy seeing a fandom die, even if I'm not a part of it. I mean, some diehard fandom members swear that their fandom isn't dead and will never die, but if you're a fandom of 30 people when you used to have 3 million, sure, it's alive, but come on. It's on life support at this point. The point is, though, the property the fandom surrounded meant a lot to a lot of people at some point in time. So, for me, seeing it lose relevance is a bit saddening. Some people may never experience the same joy they had discussing episodes or chapters on forums with like-minded people. Although, more often than not, many people form long-lasting friendships out of these fandoms, and the strongest fandoms tend to linger even after the associated property has ceased production, as I mentioned before. Stuff like Hunger Games, Lord of the Rings, and more recently shows like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Gumball, and Steven Universe. But I remember enjoying shows like Iron Man Armored Adventures, Monsuno, and Power Rangers Dino Thunder and Samurai. As of right now, I don't know the state of the community surrounding these shows, or if there even are any, but I do remember enjoying Iron Man Armored Adventures, and I think it was ahead of its time. Although, back when I was looking for discussion surrounding the show, the consensus was, I watched it a bit on Nicktoons, didn't really like the animation, why is Tony Stark a teenager? On a whim, a few years ago, I decided to watch the show again, and I unironically enjoyed it a lot. While I haven't finished it, what I have watched of it wasn't just Monster of the Week, mindless superhero pandering. There was some Monster of the Week stuff, but there was an overarching plot of the Mandarin, who is also a teenager, collecting these rings to gain power. The writing and voice acting was generally well done, characters received development, and I even loved the butt rock theme song. But it seems like no one else shares my opinion on the show, or even remembers it that well. Which is a shame because I think a lot of people would love the show if it got a bit more attention. Once again, I stopped watching the show. Not because I wasn't thoroughly enjoying it, I stopped watching the show because I had no one to share my excitement with. Which is part of the reason I'm writing this. 1, to share this feeling, and 2, to share my sentiment on some of these shows. So I don't feel like there's no point to watching these shows. There's a purpose because I shared my opinion and got people to think about these shows even for a moment. Maybe that's enough to give me motivation to finish these shows. If you've ever felt this feeling of existential dread when watching an older show or movie, just let me know. I'm wondering if there are other people who have felt similarly or if I'm just weird. Anyways, this has been Jules. I'll see you later. I'm out.